Hopefully this won't be on.
She's over it. Told that it's her.
Well, more than a quorum, we have another member.
Look at that, everyone.
There he is. There he is.
We've been waiting
Just for you, we're so happy you're here. So the long and short, I say to the lady, because it's all in Big Al supervisors, I go, how about Big Al supervisors, rattling this passage, the place to be? She goes, I think we could take that as offensive. So that's what got me into the
But
system.
nothing matches, that's just.
Nothing matches. It's the second time I've heard that in a week, that just nothing matched my numbers. I know my corporate ID, I've used it for 35 years.
When I have one, I always had to look it up, it was right handy, but I didn't remember.
When you pay payroll taxes every week for, you know,
I
things like that, you know it
paid
by heart.
and then they got my. Anyway. I have, we'll make it as. All right, quorum being present, it's time to have our technical issues resolved. I'll call the March 27th planning board meeting to order. Our first order is public hearings on several articles. The first is property maintenance or article is part of section 10. Is there anyone here who needs to go over section 10, property maintenance? From the last time, most people saw it, we removed anything. Made it basically this, for the health and safety of the public. That's the only time it starts kicking in. Does the public hear everything you want to say? I have, as I can see, only the press, usual press online. All right. At whatever, 2 minutes after we started, we finished.
7:05.
Thank you. The next article is actually the same thing. Adult use cannabis ordinance and the medical cannabis licensing ordinance, Article 15. So we become Article 15 of the town ordinances. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak on that matter? Any on the planning board?
Just want to thank the public for all this great input.
I do, yeah. Validates our months and months of work. All right, hearing no comment, closing the hearing on the cannabis ordinance. And improvements to town property, section, Article 9, Section 7, basically says, oh, ordinance. Which one was it? Article 9, Section 7, inserts, including the installation of trees, plaques, benches, and memorials on any kind of the individual or entity's own expense, on such terms as the selectman or town manager may direct and to accept as town property owned materials incorporated in the order. This is basically if somebody wants to put up a bench and dedicate it or something like in that order. Or any comment from the public? Any comment from the planning board? They're closing the hearing on Article 9, Section 7. Wireless telecommunications facility ordinance, which is Article 11. Basically, the only addition is we're adding under Section 9D, adding D and renumbering D to E. Allow local and county emergency operations communication devices to be installed and maintained free of charge. If somebody wants to put up a wireless communications tower, our local county and towns get to put equipment on it without charge.
Free rent.
Right. Is there any comment from the public? Is there any comment from the board? Hearing none. Closing hearing on Article 9, Article 11, wireless telecommunications. That is all of the public hearings. The next order of business. Medical and cannabis is all written in one document, yes. No, it's two there.
Two documents, they separated them.
I didn't print it out that way. Okay, in that case, we'll do Article 14. But we did the adult.
Yeah, we did adult recreational, that we, is there any comment from the public on
Well, that
adult
wasn't-
medical?
That wasn't, okay, Article 14, adult use cannabis ordinance, sorry, I skipped that over. Any comment from the public? Any comment from the board? Hearing none, closing the hearing on Article 14, adult use cannabis ordinance.
One was medical, one was adult use. They said originally when the committee worked on it, it was one, got separated into two to make it more
Conforming to the state.
to the state.
All right, other business. You got first, maybe other stuff, but I have a second. Is acceptance of the minutes of February 27th.
Yeah, okay, never mind.
I make a motion to accept the minutes as presented.
Second. Tony seconds. Any discussion, errors, omissions, comments? Somebody who wasn't here who was? Or vice versa? All right, all those in favor? Unanimous of those present. You were out sitting first, I believe. Do you have something you wish to ask?
Yeah, I was just gonna ask, I was here, I don't know if it was last meeting or 2 meetings ago, just asking about, building a house. And
Yeah, Mr. West, yes.
three
At least
apartments.
2 meetings, yeah.
Yeah, and I was just a couple of questions, so I've
Come on
hired,
us to the table.
Yeah,
Yes.
great, I'm sorry. Maybe you don't take over.
she's here to answer no hard questions.
She's a herald, you better peel
Look,
it back.
So it is your legal advice.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
This is your lawyer.
Yeah. So I think, after reading over the, poring over the ordinances and being extremely overwhelmed, of course. I talked to, an attorney that I typically use. He basically said, hire a surveyor and they'll do, they'll be able to do just about everything for you. And that's what I've done. I found a surveyor and they've started the work. But, I guess my questions are, it looks like according to the ordinance, it has broken up into basically 4 stages and says that, probably the public hearing, one of those stages could be combined with one of the others. So it looks to me like it's gonna require 3 meetings, a pre-approval, like an approval, then like a final approval.
We could probably rule what you came in before was
Pre-approval.
Oh, okay.
the 3 meetings, so it's probably 2 meetings once we have your documents together.
Okay, great.
There will be a public hearing. Yeah, and there will be a site visit.
All right, that's great. That's very helpful. And so I'll try to, see if my surveyor can finish things up by what I think a week from today is generally the loose deadline to get things for the following meeting. And then, my other concern was last time I met, I sounded like it had been 4 weeks since the last meeting, and I was hoping like, I hope they're every 2 weeks, so that I don't get too.
Twice a month, as long as there's business on.
Oh, okay.
Frequently, sadly, I think, but frequently have the.
All right, so if I have, everything put together, contact the town, they would be able to put it on the agenda for. Excellent.
Pardon?
As long as your applications, everything are in the office by.
Yes.
Yeah, and
Monday
remember,
noon.
town office is closed on Friday.
Yes, yeah, I had emailed.
Even I made that error.
No, yes, I always do. I can never remember if it's Mondays or Fridays that it's closed, but yeah. Okay, excellent. That's really everything. And then I was, as I do look, I've served on a couple boards in the past. I saw there was an opening and, it's something that interested me at very, very early stages, I guess, but I don't know what the process looks like.
For getting on?
I'm sorry?
For getting on?
Yes.
Finish your house first.
Yeah, right.
Not just finish building, just get through the process.
Yeah.
And then get an application from the office and they'll go to the selectmen and they'll put a mirror under your nose and you're breathing and they'll say. "We'd
Yeah, in
love
my
to have
pocket,
you."
yeah. Okay.
I don't think we have an age limit.
No, that's good. That's exciting to hear, because really, I mean, for me, it's like, I've almost expended a lot of my cash going into this, and the bank isn't going to close until I have approval, so it's like, I was,
And they're
When
fine
they get
about it.
moving.
yeah.
I am, as long as you submit the paperwork, I can.
Okay, excellent.
I think more than one of us looked into, how did we get that many structures on this piece of property? As far as I can tell, it's all done legally.
Ancient history.
So, yeah, so ancient history.
Good. All right, excellent, thank you, that's all I have.
Great. Look forward to getting your application.
Yeah.
Yeah. Remember, it's 10 cents.
It's what? 10 cents, yeah, oh, yes, yes.
And the digital is nice because we do have.
I actually I went to Staples and bought a whole case of the 11 by 17 paper because, you know, it costs like $40 to print 2 copies of it earlier. So I have access to a copier, so it won't be very expensive, but I can do that. Thank you.
Good luck.
Thanks.
And sir,
Yes. Good evening.
good evening. Could you identify yourself, please?
Sure. My name is Peter Wells. I've been a resident of Wisconsin for a brief 10 years. I live on Federal Street. I'm on many boards and committees, and I'm the founder of Schooner Fest and whatever. So Wisconsin is near and dear to me. Presently, I'm a member of the Wisconsin Neighborhood Association, which is a brand new association concerned about St. Philip's and their potential development of a 12-bedroom SRO, single room occupancy. The neighborhood was not aware of any of this until it hit the paper one day, and
Saturday. That's what I knew. It was Saturday morning. That's when it dropped in my field.
so we started to wonder what's going on. So we're trying to meet with them to discuss what their plans are, to see how it might impact the neighborhood. We're in support of their goal of finding affordable housing, but not sure if that's the right site or not. So my question really to you is, has there been any discussions regarding their consideration of this 12-unit SRO? And I just wondered if they've talked to you guys at all about the process, which I'm a site planner and engineer, and I've done 56 affordable housing units, and I know the process of planning and zoning, and I've been through it a lot. They have not, so I'm just wondering if they've been to you at all. We met with them yesterday, just with a bunch of questions as far as, have you talked to this or done that? And not much has been done. They're working with a group called Amistad, which does affordable housing throughout the state. They've done a good sized grant, which is great. But they haven't been quite up front with us as far as everything they've done. So I just wonder if they've come to the planning board to discuss any of this, which if it were me planning the project, I would come to you first to find out all the regulations and such site plan review and the whole deal. So that's my main question.
No, they have not officially approached either the planning board or the town planner. In fact, the planner and I communicated this afternoon about this issue. And went, well, you know, we're not gonna think about this anymore until somebody actually.
Until something
asks.
comes in, I know. I agree. And I told this group, the neighborhood group, they wanted me to sit in all these planning board meetings. And I said, I don't have to sit here until there's something submitted. You
Right,
guys
it'll
have
be on
something
the,
to-
it'll be on the agenda, which is.
Yeah.
Notice.
And a lot has to happen for that to occur. They need to get a survey, they need to do their design, their stormwater management, their grading and drainage, their layout, which to let you guys know, I know the site well because I live 2 blocks away. It's a very tight site.
Yes.
And to put any more parking, if they want 12 more SROs, that means parking and parking requirements, and it's just gonna be a challenge. This is what I'm saying.
Where's it located? I didn't.
St. Philip's Church.
In back of it?
Central Street.
Where are they gonna build this place?
Upstairs in the.
Oh, in the building itself.
Oh, in the church itself? Oh, no, really?
Yep. And I don't want to go into any of those details because we haven't really seen any architectural plans or anything yet, but all I know is that they want to do a 12-bed, single room occupancy. And also to let you know, I looked at the ordinance and I looked at this, and you may have a different opinion, as a group home with more than 8 residents, which isn't allowed in Village 2 zoning. So we're gonna have to go for a zone change or allowed to do that in Village Two.
Planner and I agree, like I said, we're not gonna start
Oh, no,
doing
I'm
speculation.
asking you your
But
opinion on
under that underlying question, I think before they spend money on surveys or designs, they should get the basic question, can it
Oh,
be done in the,
Totally agree,
building in the zone?
totally agree.
So,
Also, they haven't gotten the approval of the vestry.
right, actually, the church itself.
And the church itself hasn't approved it yet, true, true.
So we have no really idea. Yes, Al?
First time anybody heard anything about this was at our last meeting, one of your neighbors came to the meeting
Oh, yeah?
and spoke about it, which I think we were all surprised about it. And speaking then not as a board member, but as me individually, as a result of it, I do food pickups a couple mornings a week for St. Philip's
Yeah.
Food Pantry. And I was totally unaware of it, and I made a whole bunch of inquiries, because I see different people there, as it happened both last week and this week, I'm doing 3 mornings each week.
Yeah.
So I run into different people, and I'm not sure what they're thinking about doing, what's going on, and why Amistad is involved in it. And what I was told for the past 10 years at various times, people have lived in that church, that they've had, one family lived in there for 2 years, that they had people in there, but they got a grant from Amistad for this winter, which the grant ends several weeks from now, to be able to support 12 people, and they put somebody in there at night with them, which I don't know the mechanics of it, I don't know anything.
It's a warming shelter,
Yeah, it's a warming shelter, and the way Amistad's involved, they put the money up
yeah.
to physically have an attendant there. I don't know what you call the person, but there's a woman there every night with the people, and it's only open certain hours. I don't know if they're planning on building anything. I think the misconception may be, and I don't know, it may be what's going on right now with Jen's in a couple of weeks because the money runs out. And it was for 12 beds.
Right, from what they told us, and recently they got another grant for 916,000 for a single room occupancy, not a
build,
warming
okay.
shelter. So
Okay.
this is a different level, this is, people had rooms and people live there and.
Yeah, that's a whole different story.
The newspaper had a report either, well, since Saturday morning. Yeah, the warming shelter was used, it was actually used very little, maximum was 3. Average was 2, sometimes it was none.
Yeah.
And it had to be a Lincoln County resident.
Yeah.
There were a whole bunch of restrictions on it, but I was also informed that they had a family living in there for 2 years, and they've had various people in and out of there over the years.
They've been supportive of that clientele and we understand that. It's just, this is a little bit.
Yeah, no, that would all have to come through the planning board,
I
obviously.
know, I mentioned that and we haven't heard back from them about that. Planning and also zoning and I'm not sure who else, but I just wondered if they had been in touch with you, that's all. So I'll probably see you guys again then. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else have anything? I hate these long meetings.
At 7:23, I make my favorite motion that we adjourn.
I second. You almost do, Tony. Yes, you don't like. All those in favor? Say aye.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody.
Yeah, I
Thank you. See, we'll see some ordinances on that, or,
Parking, and then ordinance.
Got the
They're gonna- I don't know what our ordinance is, but usually it's 1 or 2 spaces per dwelling unit. You're talking anywhere from 12 to 24 spaces on-site parking. I don't think that's possible. Yeah, especially 9 by 8, you're filling up. Okay, yeah. Yeah, the old dirt lot of grass.
The green host use that level. The green is-
Yeah, that was Cassidy.
Yeah. I was the but I know Wisconsin green was the house right on the corner.
Susan, do you have any questions?
Yeah,
And that is closed on.
yeah, those categories.
But they use that.
And then you chat.